A challenge beneath Chinatown. Fine, Nigma. I'll play your games and I'll win. Selena's life depends on it.
Well, Dark Knight, eager for more? It's humbling, isn't it? The opportunity to even glimpse my greatness, the dawning realization of just how insignificant, how unworthy of note you really are? These trials are my masterpieces, Detective. When I have defeated you, they will become monuments to my genius, testaments to your stupidity. Crowds of school children will pack themselves in this elevator, eager to see for themselves the place where the Dark Knight was defeated. They won't understand a thing, of course, but they'll come. Elegantly simple that even you should manage a feeble grasp of the premise. You must provide power to this board, Detective. Flummoxed, Batman? At a loss? Completely stumped? That's how I feel when I contemplate how long it's taken to beat you. It seems you're far too attached to that fancy tank of yours to solve this one. You know, Dark Knight, on balance, I don't think you're going to figure this out.
It might help if I used the remote Batmobile controls.
Upside down, Dark Knight? Really? This isn't just a test of intelligence, Dark Knight. It's a test of skill. trials seriously? Mind the gap, Detective. Please, Dark Knight, try and take these trials seriously. Well done, Detective. Your true calling as a third-rate circus stuntman becomes clearer by the day. Well, well, you figured it out. Or blundered your way to victory. Time to help Catwoman with her key. Now then, Detective, hop on the pressure pad beside me. Listen carefully, Dark Knight. Your friend's life depends on it. Back in the orphanage, a series of glass cabinets have appeared in front of Catwoman. Isn't that right, my dear?
I see them, Eddie.
Good. One of those cabinets, my dear, has your first key inside. The others, they contain less useful keys. Keys that will unlock the admittedly slight contents of your skull all over the orphanage walls. Your job, Detective, is simple. Figure out which cabinet Catwoman must open. And don't get it wrong.
So most of them will kill me. One of them won't. Great. I can do this.
Which cabinet, kitty cat?
Okay, Batman. Let's see if you're as smart as they say. One down.
Just this once, I've lowered the count on... Catwoman's collar by 2 digits to account for Batman's earlier success. I could have simply started the count on 8, but, well, 9 lives? I couldn't resist. Now, Catwoman, celebrate your survival by telling Batman all about the exciting orphanage development. Celebrate orphanage development.
No, you do it.
Now, Kitty. Kitty.
Why, Batman, there's a big, mysterious green door.
Yes, there is. Come back to the orphanage, Batman, and I'll let the pair of you through it. Well done, Dark Knight. You should, I hope, be beginning to comprehend the breadth of the tasks ahead of you, the sheer scale of the gauntlet I have thrown down. Or perhaps not. Perhaps you're feeling cocky. Perhaps these early victories have filled you with false hope. Well then, ride that wave of smug satisfaction all the way back to the orphanage. I'm waiting. Orphanage.
Riddler, tell me everything.
Screw you! This is going... Ish! Stuff was nasty. Oh, crap! It's Batman! Get us out of here! straight through the wall like it weren't even there.
Welcome back to the Riddletorium. Do not fear. Your friend has not been harmed. Before I allow you to see her, however, riddle me this. Riddle me this. What kind of question can only be asked upon reflection? Good luck. Good luck. No, Dark Knight, you're way off the mark. Close, but it's not quite on the dot. Dot. Almost there, Batman. But you haven't quite made my mark. Well, it seems you have earned the right to see your friend. Why, she'll be as surprised as I am that you've made it this far.
Oh, good. You're back. Eddie wouldn't show me whatever deranged parlor game he's got waiting behind that door until you arrived.
I'll get you out of here.
I'm sorry. Do I seem testy? It's probably something to do with the gorgeous necklace Eddie picked out for me. Have you seen it? It explodes.
Oh, I do hope you two are getting along. Because you'll need to work together if you want to find the key hidden in here. Find the key.
Well, this looks creepy. Someone's been reading Feng Shui for serial killers. Oh, great. Extra trapped. As if the collar wasn't enough.
Oh, Batman, Catwoman, neither of you is getting out of there without the other's help.
Oh, look. It's more of Eddie's homemade friends.
Your mockery is pointless, Cat. I don't have any friends at all. You simply won't solve this one unless you can see things from each other's point of view. You'll never get out of here if you don't learn to communicate. Two questions and two answers, children. But which goes where? You simply won't solve this one unless you can see things from each other's point of view. You'll never get out of here if you don't learn to communicate. Two questions and two answers, children. But which goes where? Well, there we go. It's settled. You're not quite as dumb as each other. Congratulations, Catwoman. Batman, you're lagging behind. Oh, Dark Knight. I can barely describe to you what a pleasure it is to see your brow furrow over the simplest of conundrums. I do apologize for not creating a riddle that you can merely pound into submission. Here, why don't you take out your primitive frustrations on my automated assistant? Well then, it seems you've earned another key.
This is going to take all night, isn't it? What? Oh, that was fun. At least I got to hit something.
How are you holding up?
I'm fine. I don't need your concern. Just your help getting this thing off.
I wouldn't celebrate just yet, you two. Dark Knight, my next challenge can be found beneath Elliott Memorial Hospital. Conveniently located for when you pass out due to mental exhaustion.
Mental exhaustion.
Riddler's next trial's in Bristol. He's losing Alfred, and that makes him dangerous.
Perhaps the real challenge is tolerating his relentless self-aggrandizing commentary.
He's on our tail! Outrun that thing! Come on, lose him!
The preliminaries are done with, Dark Knight. I hope you understand that. Oh, had I so wished, you'd have failed before you had even begun to comprehend the very first hurdle. But no, no, no. I wanted you to know the full extent of my brilliance, you understand? To fully appreciate my superiority. But now, well, I'm not going easy on you anymore. Another racetrack detective, but please, do not let its unique peculiarities crush your spirit. Well, shall we begin? No, Dark Knight, you are not losing what little grip you had on reality. You've merely entered a brave new world of my design. ceiling applies 300 dead bats of pressure, Detective. I invented the measurement myself. I built this course in a sewer, Detective. You needed the home team advantage. Onward, Batman! Or does the Dark Knight require a pit stop? Very good, Dark Knight! Again! Careful now, Batman. You didn't go to all the trouble of painting that thing just the right shade of black in order to scuff it. Is it a car? Is it a tank? Who cares? Soon it'll be scrap. That's it. I'm cranking it up. 500 dead bats of pressure. You know, I think the wheels on that thing might actually be as thick as your skull. Feeling claustrophobic, Detective? Get ready for the final lap. Try and avoid the descending ceiling, Dark Knight. What a fitting end for you, Detective. A stain on my floor. I can see it, Detective. You're miscalculating corners, swerving through straight. It's time. 1,000 dead bats of pressure. Careful, Dark Knight. That car has some value, even if you don't. No, Batman, you can't drive solid objects. It's really basic physics. An expertly executed failure. Come now, Detective. A trained monkey could complete this course. Assuming I had trained him naturally. Clearer now that insane clown has been disposed of. Now you know who your real nemesis is. Faster, Batman! Like Hermes! Or if you prefer, that Roman knockoff Mercury.
Faster, Batman.
If you can't understand the intellectual virtues of completing this trial, Batman, I'm not going to explain it to you. Do you even know what a racing line is? Enough! Another lap would be the end of you, Dark Knight, and I can't quite bring myself to stop the fun so soon. Your next key awaits.
Oh, good. The fun part. And here we go.
Congratulations, Catwoman. You proved yourself able to follow simple directions. I must say, Dark Knight, that your desperate fumblings have exceeded my admittedly rather meager expectations. I am impressed. This must be how naturalists felt upon observing chimpanzees using tools for the first time. Did you know, Detective, that the cleverest chimps can even obey simple instructions? It's true. Let's try it, shall we? Go to Gotham Casino for your next test, and I'll give you a banana. Detective, I can't tell you how pleased I am that you're playing along with my little game. You literally cannot imagine what it's like to be so intellectually removed from the rest of the human race. I couldn't honestly say you offer me a battle of wits, Dark Knight, but your feeble resistance makes a pleasant change from the instant capitulation of everyone else. Oh dear, Dark Knight. What a pity you couldn't bring the Batwing to this one. Hurry along, Dark Knight. This isn't rocket science. Stumped, Dark Knight? I can see your brain flying through the possibilities. Come now, Dark Knight. Don't force me to eject you from the chamber. Eject you from the chamber. of the death trap en route to the next one? The only mammals capable of flight. Since all you do is glide, you're actually a variety of squirrel. Contrary to popular belief, very few bats survive on blood. Most species subsist on insects, whereas you prefer to live off undeserved praise. Creatures known to prey on bats include hawks, owls, some spiders, falcons, and, oh yes, of course, me. It must feel wonderful, Detective, floating majestically over a city filled with your minute inferiors. Much like being me. How does that cape work? Shape memory fibers? Some sort of collapsible harness? An arrogant insistence that the laws of gravity do not apply to you? Remind me of another plucky young man who likes strapping on a pair of makeshift wings. What was his name? Oh yes, that's right. Icarus. It's a classical reference, you uncultured brute. Flummoxed, Batman? At a loss? Completely stumped? That's how I feel when I contemplate how long it's taken to beat you. That's it, Batman. Keep rubbing those two brain cells together and you just might produce a spark. Not yet. It's far too much fun watching you try. You got there eventually, Detective, making you literally as capable as the digit-flapping mammal you pointlessly pretend to be. Your next key awaits you. Key.
More cabinets. Great. I love this part. Okay, time to possibly maybe die.
You picked the Head Explodes card. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not. Good work, Detective. You are literally as capable as the digit-flapping mammal you pointlessly pretend to be. The next key.
More
awaits
cabinets.
you.
Great. I love this part.
Oh, this is too tense to watch.
Okay, time to possibly maybe die. Well, this is not how I wanted to spend my... night?
Another key collected. I trust you're not giving her false hope, Detective.
Oh good, more fun.
Well, Dark Knight Detective, you have passed another test. I cannot help but admire the spirit with which you have thrown yourself into a task for which you are woefully under-equipped. I almost feel guilty when I contemplate what's coming, but not so guilty that I'm going to call it off. Head back to the orphanage, Detective. Another of my riddle rooms is waiting.
The militia's watchtowers have been taken out, sir.
I'm going back to the orphanage. Celine is waiting.
I can only imagine what cruel game Mr. Nigma has in store for you and Miss Kyle.
Look out! Take the back! Look, would you just shut up about it? You'd scream too if you thought you saw the bat.
It doesn't take much to tame a cat.
How are you doing?
Can't fault the entertainment. Eddie just lectured me on the 13 innovations that let him pack this collar with his custom-designed plastic explosive.
You must be honored.
At being what? Your motivation? Come on, the next puzzle room's waiting.
I hope the varying amounts of pressure don't get to you.
Another one? What's Eddie's problem?
Fanatic narcissism, egocentrism, and megalomania, crossed with severe obsessive compulsion.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. Move further. Step on the pad.
You are getting older. Maybe it's time to add a few extra notches to the utility belt. Hey, don't shove. Move over, would you?
to the dementedly dressed duo. Your key awaits. Oh, but what's this? An electrified floor?
You do it. You still owe me for Arkham City.
Goodness, you figured it out already. Well, you better grab that key and be on your way. Meet the second generation of my android allies. I've built a variant specifically tailored to each of your dubious abilities.
Leave the blue ones to me.
There's more from Batman. I've built a highly efficient production line. You know what, Detective? I'm glad you solved this riddle. Because it takes you one step closer to the riddle that kills you.
Riddle that kills you.
Eddie really hates you, doesn't he?
He's an ego-driven narcissist who can't let anyone else win.
Gee, if only you'd met under different circumstances.
His obsession's getting worse. He's going after my allies.
Ally? After this, I think we should dial it back to known associate for a while.
This was nothing, Dark Knight, nothing. A new trial awaits you, Detective, by Divinity Church, and I'm waiting too.
I'm headed to Divinity Church. Riddler won't give up, Alfred. His pride won't let him.
You'll break his spirit, sir. I've every confidence.
I wish Joker's Funland was still open. No lines for the Ferris wheel. I'm getting out of here! It's the freaking bat!
You work for Riddler. So talk to me.
That's all I know!
It's enough.
I ain't never had so much fun! Oh god, what's he doing? What's he doing?
The unexamined life is not worth living, Detective, and I've been wondering why I let you aggravate me so. You're a cheat and a liar. A dressed-up strongman playing with expensive toys. World's greatest detective, ha! And everyone from Gotham to Star City believes it. I cannot abide a fraud detective, a dilettante masquerading amongst his intellectual betters, stealing every last scrap of appreciation, dignity, and respect. Welcome, Detective, to the drain I'm going to figuratively and quite possibly literally flush you down. The goal of this aquatic examination could not be simpler, Detective. Lower the water like so. Before that, however, it's time for a riddle. Riddle me this, Detective. What do bats do when they're at home? Detective, since that car is quite clearly an extension of your ego, I thought you'd take better care of it. That's one Batman. The water might be lower, but you're still out of your depth. Look at you, Detective, hanging there in that hideous machine like a particularly ugly chandelier. Don't leave me hanging, Detective. The answer is right above your nose. Your nose. You know, Detective, if I'd rigged that grapple point to detach, you could be dead in a moment. Dead. But where would the satisfaction be in that? You will be your own downfall, Detective. I have no doubt. Another switch? Why, the water is almost as low as Catwoman's chances of freedom. Why don't you celebrate with my friends? You know what? I wanted you to destroy the robots. I did. It's all part of my immaculately constructed master plan. So there. Don't think I haven't been tempted by a cheap trick and a quick death, Detective. But no, I will beat you fairly. I will let you test yourself against me and laugh as you fall short. Struggling, Detective? I'm afraid you're running several minutes behind my projections. Ah! This is why my projections were off. I failed to consider both your incompetence and your stupidity as two distinct variables. Apologies, Detective. I will recalculate post haste.
Post haste.
You are barely keeping up to the precise degree my equations predict. Careful on your way out. That was part of the plan too, Batman. It's all part of the plan.
The plan.
Go get your key. Go.
Hey, Eddie, can't we play a different game? This one's getting old.
Ready to die, my dear?
Here's hoping Eddie hasn't started cheating. And they say black cats are bad luck.
Another key. Well done. Of course, you'll lose all 9 lives in an instant should I push this detonator.
Another door unlocked. What a surprise.
have always been the smartest man in the room, Detective, forced to endure the suspicions and mockery of those whose meager mental faculties prohibited them from appreciating that fact. And then you appear in Gotham, dressing up your cognitive capabilities marginally superior as they are to that of the average hoodlum, in the guise of a crusading hero. And oh, how the people swooned. To the orphanage, hero! It's time to rejoin Catwoman for another trial.
Selena's still trapped at the orphanage. Together, we'll get her out.
That's what I think it is! It's Batman! Step on it! Okay, we'll try.
It doesn't take much to tame a cat.
You're back.
I said I'd get you out of here.
I know. It's just... nothing. Let's get to the next room, okay? Before my head explodes.
Favorite comedy double act. I'd just like to say what a novelty it's been constructing riddle chambers for 2 half-wits instead of 1. Why, that's practically a whole wit between you. Dark Knight, when you failed your feline friend and are done mourning over her headless corpse, perhaps we'll do this again with, Robin? Or maybe that prodigal son of yours over in Bloodhaven.
Blood.
The gap in the wall? I could reach it with a pounce.
Riddle me this. Can a maze still amaze if it doesn't have walls? Don't be afraid, Dark Knight. Just step into the light.
You know, I had to disable a security system like this when I robbed Queen Industry. Never mind.
Halfway there. Now for a final twist.
Twist.
there, Selena.
What a shock. For you, I mean, Detective. I was expecting it.
Done on this side.
Okay, done over here.
Congratulations. And now your reward. Robot.
All yours. This one's for you, Eddie.
Fine. The key. Take the key. I suppose you just about earned it.
When I get out of here, I'm sticking this collar around Eddie's neck.
Well, how clever the pair of you must feel. How smug. Well, I hate to intrude upon this miserable little moment of victory, but I wanted you to be aware you're very unlikely to see one another again. Catwoman, the Batman will fail you, because waiting for him beneath Ranelagh Ferry Terminal is my greatest trial.
Batman, are we?
Don't let what Riddler said get to you.
Eddie is an idiot, but he's an idiot who built a series of underground death traps across the city.
And?
And I just wanted to say, be safe. This is definitely your mess, and I appreciate you cleaning it up. But just be careful while you do it, okay?
Ranelagh Ferry Terminal. Okay, Riddler. This game ends now.
This is it, Dark Knight. We're done. Well, you're done for, at least. I must admit that I'm feeling quite charitable at the moment of my triumph. So I will give you a choice. Rather than carry on towards your humiliation and death, I will simply let you drive away in return for a signed statement testifying towards my superior intelligence and conceding that I have utterly checkmated you. Oh, the cat will remain a hostage, of course. A symbol of your failure. You're actually going to attempt it. Very well. But this is my finest work, Detective. My masterpiece, my Enigma Resistance. So, let us take that inexplicably life-sized children's toy for its final drive. This is it, Dark Knight. Your Toodleberg, your Bay of Pigs, your ultimate defeat. That's it, Detective. Drive faster, drive headlong into defeat. No, 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 Detective. Turn around. Behold your doom. What? Impossible! That cannot be! You should have fallen to your death. I calculated the curvature precisely. I've got the equations right here. I don't understand. How are you still alive? Oh, of course. You got lucky, didn't you? It was luck. Luck! The kindly lifeguard of the idiot. I can hardly factor luck into my equations now, can I? I'm not a homeopath. You've been waltzing with Lady Luck your whole life, Detective. But now the music stops. Dark Knight, you're not failing properly. At least try and head the correct way. Dark Knight, don't waste my time. It's several times more precious than yours. Too slow, Detective, too slow. For a second there, I was almost concerned. Come on, Detective. Back to the start of the course. Back to the start of the course. When you failed that last lap, I could see the headlines, Detective. Riddler, triumphant. Batman, disgraced. Gotham, awed. be ashamed to have failed, Detective. This isn't a racetrack. It's an immaculately constructed work of art. It is perfection. Farewell, Dark Knight. No! This isn't right. This isn't possible. This isn't happening. I am the Riddler, and you shall not defeat me! Since you cannot even be counted on to kill yourself, I will do it for you. I'm controlling the mechanisms now.
Controlling mechanism.
No, Batman, you can't write solid objects. It's really basic physics. You'll make a mistake. Of course you will. I know you will. Make your peace, Dark Knight. This really is it. It has to be. Hurry up, Detective. You stand marginally more of a chance of succeeding if you actually begin. You appear to have been utterly crushed by my superiority. Try again, Detective. I have all night. Try again. Feel that, Detective? It's called humiliation. Come back to the start of the course and I'll serve up some more. I want you to know, Detective, that I'm recording all your attempts at this for posterity. And for my social media presence, of course. I want you to know, Detective, that I'm recording all your attempts at this for posterity. And for my social media presence, of course. Don't worry, Detective. You have until dawn. Not that it'll make any difference. Dark Knight, don't waste my time. It's several times more precious than yours. That's more like it, Detective. You failed! For the briefest moment, you almost seemed capable. If you're feeling vainglorious enough for another attempt, Dark Knight, you must trundle back to the start of the course. Or if you prefer, that Roman knockoff Mercury. Goodbye. Now, detective, time waits for no man. And I wait for no Batman. You did it. The key. Now you collect the key. Those are the rules, and I have to follow the rules, don't I? I set them after all.
Okay, almost there.
Riddle me this. What has a cape, a cowl, and can't be trusted not to get you killed? Can you trust him, Catwoman? Can you trust?
And here we go. Oh, that's it. No more.
Congratulations, Catwoman. You are now free. Free to take my final exam. To take my final exam.
Eddie, I didn't know you'd started cheating. I'm disappointed.
I dissemble. I artfully obfuscate. But I do not cheat. As you and Batman will discover when you attempt my final riddle room. Riddle room. Do you have a photographic memory, Detective? Because I do. I can summon your sneering features at will. That is when they don't burst unbidden into my brain. I have perfect recall, too. I can remember every time you've hurt me. Sometimes I wake up, Dark Knight, to the feel of your hands around my neck, your carbon fiber-coated fists smashing into my solar plexus. How dare you brutalize me? Me! Your intellectual superior. You're better. Me, Edward Nygma, the Riddler, and the world's greatest everything. You're a thug, Detective, a bullying emblem of the arrogant notion that might makes right. Come back to the orphanage, where I will end you and the unjust things you stand for.
Now's my chance to free Selina from the orphanage. This sick game has gone on long enough.
Agreed, sir. Best of luck.
Take much to tame a cat.
How have you been?
Perfect. Eddie hasn't said a word since you left that last course. Do you ever rub people the right way?
Then...
This is it. One last hoop to jump through. Then I'm free to rob Gotham blind. I mean, you know, make sure everyone got out. I'll check the art galleries first.
Meet the Riddle Square. A puzzle which draws influence from both late 20th century puzzle cubes and mid-15th century torture devices.
If Eddie wanted us to play a game of life-size chess, he could have left us more pieces.
I don't think that was the idea.
Riddle me this. How can you play my game when you've already been barred?
Already play my game.
We need to stop some of the cubes from moving when I fire the charge.
I'm guessing that'd be my job.
We need to move the blocks.
Well, hurry up then. Surely one of those lasers will get the job done. Look at all these generators. Why does Eddie need so much power?
No, Dark Knight, you're way off the mark. The mark. Congratulations. Now let's cut to the best part.
Selina, watch out! Get ready!
How is that a riddle, Eddie? Seriously.
You get used to it.
Ah, beginner's luck. Let's intensify proceedings. You will not win this!
It's still not a riddle, Eddie.
You just haven't figured it out yet.
This is it. This is the end. The final riddle.
It's done. Keys by the entrance. Let's go.
You smooth talker, you. Give me a second to compose myself. You know what the worst thing about this was? It looked cheap. Well, handsome, what are we waiting for? So is it just Central Gotham that's evacuated? Or are the mansions empty too?
Scarecrow threatened the entire city, Selina.
And it's such a tragedy. You go save the day, and I'll make sure Bruce Wayne locked his doors.
Good luck with that.
Cheater! You fraud! You champion, bumbling amateur! Look what you have reduced me to, Batman! If you can simply bow down when confronted with your average superior, then I will stoop to your pathetic pugilistic level and make you! I designed this suit to perfectly defend myself against your violent excesses. So please understand, Dark Knight. This is an intellectual victory above all.
Smash it!
Burn, Batman! I'll subtract you from this equation.
Bring it down!
Thank you, Batman, for teaching me the effectiveness of violence. Solve this one. Enough! This is beneath me. You are beneath me. You want to finish this, detective? Then you must earn the privilege. Solve every last riddle in this city and I'll fight you, Batman, but not a moment before.
Or we could just leave you down there, Eddie. Come on, Batman. This cat wants to prowl. I've been cooped up all night, handsome. We're leaving. Why bother? Let's leave him and hit the town. Ah, fresh air, freedom, and darkness. Perfect. How shall we celebrate? I know a couple of poor, defenseless museums. But then again, I also know a couple of hotels.
Tonight's not over yet. There's more work to be done.
Of course there is. You do know how to kill the mood. Do you ever take the night off? Do you ever take the suit off?
Not on nights like this, Selina. It's what I do.
Fine. I guess I'll hit an art gallery or two, while the big bad bat's distracted.
You're not going to thank me?
Why? It's what you do.
I need to find Riddler's trophies, all of them, to draw him out.